Hi everyone, Sandman here. This video was brought to you by a donation from Mr. Anonymous, and here's what he's got to say. Hi Sandman, will Elon Musk's iRobot take over because they can't be nagged by women? Will they do what is just correct and needed? Or that which a society backs a woman wants? A man will fight if he has a wife behind him. If feminism screws the men in a country, that has an effect. Muslim women make Islam great. A country without women backing the men is doomed, unquote. Well, Mr. Anonymous, thanks for the donation as well as the topic. While I want Elon Musk to succeed with his Optimus robot that's going to cook and clean your house and do your gardening, I also want to be realistic. Musk is known for overpromising and underdelivering. His robotaxi event recently was badly received, and the Tesla stock cratered 8% the following day. You're asking if his robots will be neutral or have a gender bias. But that's premature, because they don't even work yet and probably never will. Musk's Hyperloop company was shut down. The Boring Company just made some tunnels in Las Vegas that are a death trap, and in a few months, if Twitter X revenue keeps falling, I'll probably get rid of my blue check mark, because it'll cost me more than I make in revenue. Twitter X views are crashing and the quality of the memes on there is going down as well. The recent Robotaxi event was filmed in Hollywood in a film studio. So I'm not worried that Optimus or any other AI robot with artificial intelligence will work. I keep wondering why no one just has remote humans in third world countries operate cars and robots in the West. For example, in India, the average salary is $2,700 a year. If I was Musk, I would hire Indians to drive the cars remotely. He could just connect them directly to Starlink and use cell phone towers as backups. And if both failed, then the person in the car would have to take over. It would basically be a Pajit bot or private chauffeur. The port strike recently with the longshoreman shows us this will actually work. The Chinese already have their ports connected through computers and cameras, and all the machines are controlled remotely. As for robots that back what women want, that only happens if women make the legislation, and that's only if women and their simp allies make up the majority of politicians. We're inching closer and closer towards that. It's a slippery slope to a female-led military and robots fighting for them. I got a strike a while back talking about that around 5 or 6 years ago now. Let's say that in the future a women's political party is created, and AI is perfected, then women might say, we finally don't need men for labor, resources, and maintaining the infrastructure. The only things men would be good for at that point is procreation, and a handful of chads and Tyrones can satisfy all that. Or even as emotional support simps. We could enter a world where you see guys wearing emotional support simp badges the way that animals wear them today. But I think that men will either smash the machines before it ever gets to that point, like the longshoreman strike showed us, that men are willing to resist. Or men would just move to places where the robots and their gynocentric operators wouldn't be able to control them. And then men would make their own robots. Regardless of if Elon succeeds or not, someone eventually will. And technology will continue to not only atomize individuals from one another, but I suspect there'll be a split off from the sexes, something like what we saw in the split between the Eloys and Morlocks in H.G. Wells' Time Machine. I suspect any relationship between the sexes in the future, if both sides remain free, will be turned into commodities. Women will have to pay men for their friendship. Men might pay for sex and surrogacy. The only reason we've been tolerating each other thus far through time is because we needed each other for reproduction, sex, emotional support, child rearing, and the resources if you're a woman. Once technology replaces all or most of those functions, there'll be no reason for us to interact with one another. Women, of course, will want technology to fill their needs, but not give us men what we need. So that we'll still be relying on them and therefore give them our time and attention for free. They're already taking our resources by out-earning us. There are also still plenty of simps to friend zone, and women exploit men sexually through lonely fools. But they will fight to ban lover bots, which Elon is also supposedly working on, and eventually artificial wombs. They don't want to pay men for attention and sex, but they still want men to pay for women having children with them and for women's sexuality. It's not fair, but that's what's going to happen. You also mentioned that men will fight for things if there are women behind them pushing them to do so. Yes, women nag and drive men crazy. So we start wars to satiate their ever-increasing desires, so we might fight a war to make our nations wealthier. But I don't think a country without women's backing is doomed. Just look at Dubai. It's 75% male. On the contrary, it's gynocentric societies that are doomed because they have way too much feminine energy in them. In Islam, there are too many incels, and they're taken advantage of to go and attack the infidels. Why do you think they have so many males willing to give up their lives for imaginary virgins in a place called paradise? Do you still think they would do that if their scriptures didn't say that that was their reward? Mr. Anonymous, I can understand why you sent this request. You watched Elon Musk's presentation and got excited about it. I felt like that 6 to 8 months ago when I was doing my B5 podcast, also known as Be Financially Indestructible. The current AI and robotics hype feels very similar to what happened in 1998 and 99, just before the dot-com bubble. People became irrational investing in companies where they weren't making any money. All of the money was coming from IPO money and not actual profits. Once the IPO money ran out, everything crashed. I remember using Macromedia Flash and thinking to myself, this is amazing software, but it wasn't making much money. There was also AngelFire for free web hosting, but they weren't making enough money from advertising either. Search engines couldn't make a profit too. You had companies like Alta Vista, GoTo, Ask Jeeves, the Yahoo directory, and so many others that went bust. Dot-com businesses needed to be refined to be profitable. Humans tend to overestimate the impact of a technology in the short run, but underestimate its impact in the long run. Remember that big tech companies' shares have gone up 100% if you bought an ETF over the last year and a half, but Tesla's in trouble. Near me, there's a parking lot with thousands of unsold Tesla cars 10 minutes away, just sitting in a parking lot of an abandoned mall called Honeydale Mall in the west end of Toronto. I'm more interested in SpaceX and Starlink and the potential for Musk to take over the entire global cell phone and internet markets with his constellation of satellites. If the American Republic falls, I could see him with his popularity being the first emperor of America if there's a civil war and the Republic collapses. But I also won't hold his failures against him. Even if only 30 to 40% of his projects succeed, that's going to make life much better and more interesting for all of us. As for robots doing our labor, I don't know about you, but I spend only 45 minutes a day cooking and doing laundry. I have someone help me every month or two to do the cleaning. So would I spend $20,000 on a robot to save that much? I'm sure some people would, but most wouldn't. The market is nowhere near as large as the car markets, but no one wants dedicated electric cars either. Getting a short-range plug-in hybrid is the best option as far as I'm concerned. As for robots, AI, and other technology in general, it will mostly back what women want. And if we as men get what we want, then women will try and ban it. But they will be unsuccessful as men travel to other regions of the earth where sex bots and artificial wombs won't be banned. Eventually, women will have to face their obsolescence. Mr. Anonymous, you're wrong about men refusing to fight for life if he doesn't have a wife behind him. I think that around 10% of men, maybe more, maybe less, such as myself that plan on having families as single fathers, fight more when we are single. I think those men that require a woman for purpose in life will eventually get excluded from the gene pool, and all that'll remain are the men that have internal validation and motivation passing down their genes. The men that focus on hedonism in life, when AI and technology provides endless amounts of that stuff, will be doomed to becoming genetic dead ends. As for my thoughts on Islam, it was great during its golden age. But once the universities, libraries, and philosophy was destroyed by the Mongol hordes, paranoia gripped it. That's when it stopped being relevant with regards to pulling forward the whole of civilization. And then the West took over the mantle. The West is still dominant thanks to the coming AI and robotics revolutions, even though it is decadent culturally. My greatest fear is that Elon Musk builds Starlink and builds a robot army, and somehow becomes evil. There won't be anyone stopping Emperor Elon if he can launch starships full of robots and drones anywhere in the world within 30 minutes. That'll be controlled via satellite internet. Dude could easily become the king of the world. I say let him do that if his heart is in the right place, especially if the left tries to destroy civilization. But then again, don't we all know that power corrupts, and absolute power corrupts absolutely? Time will tell. Anyways, that's it for today. Thanks again to Mr. Anonymous for the donation and topic. Don't forget to smash the like button the way that I want to watch Elon stomp out the woke left with robot armies. Bang the bell and check out the mystery link. Follow me on BitChute, Twitter, and Facebook to get tomorrow's video today. Subscribe to me on Minds, Odyssey, Make.TV, and Rumble to get the video for the day after tomorrow. This channel's been demonetized, and if you want to help me keep making content, then please support me through Subscribestar. There's a link to it in the description. Or you can do an hour-long coaching chat with the Sandman for $45 and it won't rush you out the door like a cheap whore. Thanks for taking your daily dose of red pills, and remember, a red pill a day keeps the people that think AI and robots will change the world in the next few years when it's going to be more like 10 to 20 years away. So enjoy the rest of your day, and cheers.